Angry guy here, and men are abandoning society to play video games and sleep. Men are abandoning society to play video games and sleep, so this is actually happening around us. I find it pretty interesting, and it's as if people, women especially, don't want to accept reality that men are completely done with Western society. They no longer want to participate, and a society without its men is not a society, it's not a country, it is a wasteland. And that reality is only growing stronger as more and more men say, yeah, we're done with this nonsense. We're done with the games. We're done with everything. We're taking our ball and we're going home. And then we're living happier, longer lives, luxurious lives of simplicity by not participating. So we're going to jump into that video because I think you're going to find it quite interesting.
With a not-so-bravo topic. We're talking about jobs and a major hiring crisis. It's a problem, really, bigger and older than the Great Resignation you've heard so much about. It's a problem you're not going to find in the unemployment rate, which is, of course, at near record lows. And it's because a large number of American men in particular, men in their prime working years, are actually not working, and they're not even looking for work. The result is a bit of a mystery and also a major hole in the American economy.
My name's Mike Rowe, and this is my job.
Of all the jobs he's done over the past 20 years.
Now get ready to get dirty.
And Mike Rowe has done them all as the host of Dirty Jobs on Discovery.
From machines that dump.
Oh, now it's dirty jobs, isn't it?
The hoses that suck. Gee.
He's never claimed to be an economist.
Thank you.
But while taping the series during the Great Recession of 2008, he did notice something important.
All anybody was talking about was the number of people who were out of work. But on Dirty Jobs, even then, everywhere we went, we saw help wanted signs.
It turns out dozens of real-life economists and other researchers have a possible explanation: a long-term decline in male labor force participation. Or as one think tank summarized it, men not at work.
This is a men problem by and large, right?
Seems to be.
Look back to the 1950s, and 98% of men in their so-called prime working years had a job or were looking for one. That number has fallen ever since, to the point where today more than 7 million men have essentially dropped out of the workforce.
We've given a lot of people a lot of options. And incredibly, one of those options is do nothing. Do nothing.
Rowe and I met at Empire Metal, a fabrication and finishing shop in Queens, New York, and where, much like manufacturing shops nationwide, finding skilled workers like these is a growing challenge.
We have more jobs than we have people for, about 1.5 jobs for every one worker.
Jay Timmons, who leads the National Association of Manufacturers, describes all this as a profound problem for the companies he represents.
99.9% of them will say that their number one challenge right now is being able to fill those open jobs.
So you are here as a representative of more than 14,000 manufacturers in these United States. And the number one problem for 99 out of 100 of them is filling jobs.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be able to say that. But now it's kind of an all hands on deck. We've got to fill these jobs that are open.
And there are nearly 800,000 of those jobs open right now, according to the latest federal count, a number that surged in recent years as companies reinvest in American-made products, or try to anyway. And with manufacturing workers earning more than $30 an hour on average, Timmons says the problem is not pay, but perception.
It used to be dirty, dark, and dangerous. Today it's very sleek, it's very technology-driven.
And that's what we saw when we visited Electrosoft, a company outside Philadelphia that makes circuit boards for everything from missiles to submarines.
So over there is the quality area where we do first piece article testing, final testing.
But CEO Carla Trotman says they could be doing more if only she had the workers to do it.
How many people work here right now?
30.
How many people do you wish worked here right now?
45.
So you got 15 people that you have jobs for,
Yes.
but you can't find them.
Cannot.
How much money in lost business is there in not being able to hire the people that you want?
Around $5 million in top line revenue.
$5 million. Now, I want to point something out to you. Not only is it $5 million in lost revenue just from those 15 people that she cannot hire, but we're not talking about scaling beyond that. Okay, so just right now, there's about $5 million that her business cannot take. She has to turn customers away. So she has to turn away $5 million at this moment. That is not talking about the actual growth potential. Okay, she literally has $5 million in orders she cannot fill because she doesn't have the workers. She does not have the men to work for her to do this. In reality, she can probably, there's so much demand, she could potentially ultimately end up scaling up to $100 million business. But she cannot find enough men to do this work. And if you notice in the video, she actually has female employees. There are some women doing this work, mostly Asian women. The problem is that most women in Western society don't have the technical skill sets to do these jobs, nor do they have the desire to do these jobs. They're just not going to do them. They're not going to spend their time learning how to configure or assemble microprocessors. They're not going to do it. These are things that men do. Women do the kinds of work that they choose to. If they want to be doctors and nurses, they become doctors and nurses. Whatever jobs women want, they go into those sectors and they take over those sectors entirely. Look at psychology. They've taken over psychology almost entirely. Psychiatry. Whatever fields women want, they take over. Women don't want these jobs. So, of course, she's here blaming men for not taking these jobs, when in reality, why isn't she saying, why aren't more women going into these fields? Why aren't we encouraging more? Because it doesn't work. Decades and decades of spending to encourage girls to code, to encourage girls to go into STEM, to encourage girls to do all of these things, have only lined the pockets of the people creating these promotions. That's the honest to goodness truth. You know, it's basically trying to tell women to do jobs that they don't want. If they have no interest in these fields, they're not going to do these jobs. There are a lot of great female programmers, but you have to remember that it takes a lot of dedication and effort for them to do this. They have to actually want to do this. They have to put in the time, and and what they invest, they get back. Most women aren't going to do it. Telling women to do something they don't want to do because if they don't do it, guys, this is what feminism did as well. Feminism told women that they should do all of these things and they're powerful and they can do anything and everything. And then women went out and they said, yeah, we don't enjoy doing this. We don't like doing this, so we're not going to do it. At the end of the day, the reason why men will always make more is because men do the jobs that no one else wants to do. Women basically say, we're not doing it. Men see opportunity. Do you think most men want to get out of bed and in the wee hours of the morning and go pick up trash? Like, do you think, how many, don't get me wrong, there are some people who do like sanitation work. There are some people, there are kids who wake up, there are a lot of kids who say, when I grow up, I want to be a garbage man, right? And that's not a bad thing. But most men, most people don't say their first thought is, yeah, I want to be a garbage man when I grow up. Okay? And women aren't going to do these jobs. Very few women will become garbage men, and then the ones who do become garbage men act like they think they're better, like they're better and stronger than the men who do these jobs, which is just pretty hilarious. It's no wonder men are just saying we're done with Western society and we're not going to be bothered.
Yeah.
That would be here, and that presumably you'd be paying taxes on.
Obviously,
and that would go into people's pockets and would be going out into the broader economy.
Yeah.
What is your theory about where those 15 people are right now?
I honestly have no idea where they are.
She suspects some people may be sitting out because of a recent change in the way many of us look at work.
I think it's fulfillment. I think it's culture. I think people really want to feel as though they are appreciated. I mean, Beyonce's song, she said, release your job. A lot of people release their jobs. They don't, and they realize, it's an overall feeling of being fed up and being taken for granted.
But there's more. According to one economist, some non-working men face a skills mismatch. A third have criminal records, making them ineligible for many jobs and making employers hesitant to hire them. And many rely on safety nets, such as disability. So you may
Guys, I also told you about this. I said that the passport kings are going to create empires around the world. All of these black guys that are abandoning Western society right now, that's the best of the black community. These guys are the best of the black community. These are guys that don't have criminal records. These are the guys who are highly skilled. These are your computer programmers, software engineers, plumbers, lawyers, doctors, electricians, you know, repair work. I mean, these are the guys with the skill sets. And these are the men who are leaving like the black community was not on life support. Like that plug was pulled long ago. But these were the step up dads. Guess what? They're done. And now and as more white guys and men of all ethnicities abandon Western society and say, we're walking away from Western society, even if they are not leaving the country, they are pulling back from the economy because by not working those long hours and taking the jobs that no one wants to do, that's damaging the economy. Like I said, most men don't wake up and say, I want to be a garbage man. So guess what? If a man is not going to have children or get married, he doesn't have to do any of those things. He doesn't have to go and be a garbage man. He can sit at home and work just a little, whatever he has to, and that's it, and live a relatively easy and comfortable life. In other countries, men don't work this hard. Men do not work nearly as hard as they do in Western society. Men take things much easier. You go over to the Caribbean, you go over to a lot of Spanish-speaking countries. Heck, you go to a lot of European countries, and they don't operate the way that we operate in the United States. For example, if there's a meeting at 10 a.m., everyone needs to be there before 10 a.m. For example, if you're going for a job interview, you should be like just chilling in the parking lot, or just within the vicinity with 10 to 15 minutes before the interview, and then you should go inside at least 5 minutes before. That's if they don't tell you to arrive 15 minutes before. Like that's America. Like, like it's crazy. If you have a doctor's appointment, they'll tell they won't even, a lot of the times now, they don't even tell you the actual time of your appointment. They will tell you, they'll basically say 10 a.m., right? But the actual appointment is not until 10:15 or 10:30. A lot of times, because just so that you will now arrive early, all right? Like this is how crazy our system is. In other countries, it's different. France, I've heard stories about how in France, the guy will just like wander off. He'll go to lunch, have a little bit of wine, and then he'll basically show up. He'll basically have a little wine and cheese, and then he'll basically just shuffle back into work maybe sometime around 3. It's unheard of. American men work the hardest in the world. We work the hardest. We work the longest hours. We put in more labor than anyone else. Guys, the quality of life is not great. If you look at countries like Russia, they don't work as hard in Russia. Trust me. They don't, they find ways to enjoy their lives. They'll just get pissed off and walk out. Like men are just so much more serious in Western society. And without men carrying that gauntlet, women say that, oh, we can do everything. Guess what? There are videos now where women are just basically saying we're done. Like they're keeping the feminism, but they're refusing to work. They want to be traditionalist feminists. Guys, traditionalist feminist. Women are pushing traditionalist feminism right now, where you keep your feminism, but you become you want to be traditional in the sense that you get to stay home and do all the things that a traditional woman does, even kind of. Well, you benefit from all of the things that traditionalism offers, but you're still a feminist. So you get to have that soft girl life, but you're a feminist. Like you're still fighting the patriarchy. You're still you're still doing all of these things, and calling out the male dominated society and everything else. But you're a feminist and you're standing against the injustices. But you're not going to work anymore. Like you're done working. You're done with that life. You need to be taken care of. The man needs to provide everything for you. Although you run that house. And you run that relationship, and there's going to be equality and equity in that relationship, and you're going to be taught, and that man is going to have to fight for social injustices, but you're going to benefit from all the traditional stuff of him providing for you, protecting you, and doing everything else that comes with it. But you are still far and foremost a feminist. Like this is how insane it is right now.
What are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average relaxing, playing games, and watching TV.
So how is it, from where you're sitting, from your understanding, that people can do nothing all day and still have enough money for a bag of chips?
Oh, well, it's almost as though some entity is paying them. It's almost as if somebody is not letting them fail. It's as if some giant parent somewhere has...
An uncle, maybe?
Could be a rich uncle, yes. Could be a very wealthy uncle.
Like guys, I saw a post on their channel, and it was the dude. It was just so funny how they phrased it. Like, guys, I've done the math for you plenty of times. I've done the math for you guys, and I've explained, I've explained the what do you call it? I've explained the economics of homelessness to you guys, and it's not just homelessness, but it's poverty or living or public assistance, living off the government, and it's a lot more feasible and profitable than many of you believe. Like it's not just living off the government, but just not working at all. Like you can, when you do the math, when you start to do the math and you add everything up, you quickly begin to discover that in many cases it makes more sense not to work. It really does. I mean, guys, when you're homeless, like people come around and they'll give you food from like Popeyes, and like you literally they will give you free food from these restaurants, and it's insane. You go to the food pantries and you fill up your car, you fill up your everything, and this is the same food from the supermarkets, but you don't have to pay anything for it. And there's a lot of people who just live this way. There's a lot of people who just live this way because they can. Are they really dumb? I mean, like, guys, look at this. I did some of the math for you guys. Look at this list. Let's go over it. So 21,360 equals $18,000 yearly in foods from handouts, and 3,360 from food stamps yearly. So just basically relying on food pantries, people giving you food like this is how it works. If it works out to about $21,360 if you do this. Health insurance, $477 a month for health insurance. Free Medicaid or county health insurance works out to $5,724. So if you're not working for a company and getting your health insurance through them, then basically you would be spending about $477 a month. So by getting Medicaid, this is what you're basically avoiding almost $6,000 in medical insurance costs. You don't even have to pay for your cell phone bill. There's a thing called the ACP, which will give you a $30 credit towards your phone bill. So you can basically go to Metro PCS, or not even Metro PCS, T-Mobile, Verizon, and many phone, AT&T, I think, even supports it now. And, you can essentially just, in many cases, just have your entire phone bill covered. So you do not have to pay for cell phone. And keep in mind, you can apply the credit to the bill. So you don't have to have like a $30 plan. You don't even have to have a $30 plan that gives you limited amounts of data. You can have a $40 plan, and let's say that gives you, you have a $40 plan. It gives you unlimited data. Right now, I actually have a $40 plan, and for Metro PCS, and that's one of my plans. I have a couple different plans, and I have a $40 plan, and that gives me unlimited data. And what's interesting is that, if you were to apply the ACP credit, I mean, that would only work out to, let's see, I mean, that would only work out to $120 a year for your cell phone bill, and that's for anyone who wants unlimited data. For example, if you don't care, then yeah, you can basically have a free cell phone, and just use Wi-Fi whenever it's available. Then you have clothing, toiletries, and everything else, and that's an estimated value of at least $50 a month, which would work out to $600 a year. And keep in mind, I'm like, that's for homeless people. That is just for homeless people. If you're like, if you are a person that is, you have a place to live and so forth, you can go. There are places you can go to, and it will provide you with all of these things, tons of them. So provide you tons of toilet paper, tons of clothing. Like, we're just talking about homeless people, $50 a month minimum. All right. But if you're like, if you're but if you're like just a normal person, you can receive you can receive thousands of dollars a year in just toiletries and clothing. All right. You can get free haircuts. There's a lot of places that will provide you with a free haircut. All right. And let's say $50 a month in terms of value. Guys, right now, if you like from New York or California, like you can easily spend $30 to $50 just for one haircut in some places. But I mean, again, you get that. If you're sleeping in shelters, that works out to about $1,500 a month in housing accommodations. I mean, that's literally, we're estimating that at $50 a day, right? Which is, again, very, very low. So I mean, that's $18,000 a year. Free car, you can get free car service access if you don't drive. So for example, you can use services like Access a Ride or various others, and that's 60 rides per month. That's 25, which is $25, up to $25, which works out to $1,500 in free rides per month, or $18,000 in rides per year. And you can also qualify for things like Uber or Lyft. Like, I did my research for you guys, and I'm actually thinking about putting on a course for you, which will teach you guys just how to live off the system. It's guys, this is bad. This is bad of me. This is so bad of me. But I feel like, guys, you want this? Do you want a course that'll teach you just how to live off the system? Like, it'll teach you like all of these different things. I'll update it over time for you guys, but just like giving you a lot of these things, so that'll just teach you how to work as little as possible, or do no work at all. I know some of you will hate me for even putting it out there, but why even bother at this point? Like, women have this, like, women and Sims, like, the economy, society is kind of at a train wreck. Like, let me know if this is something you want, because I can teach you guys how to, acquire, get a lot of these things completely for free. So how to find free food, like, forget about covering your food bill, how to, get free housing, like, basically how to live for free. Like, if you guys want this, like, how to live for free, like, bro, you'll get cash in your hand. You will have cash in your hand. Okay, they will put money in your hand. We're talking about a minimum of, let's say, $9,600 to over $10,000 a year in just cash benefits, and that's not counting all the other things that you're going to be getting. So I mean, let me know if you're interested in this, because I'll create it for you guys. I will create an entire blueprint that will teach you guys how to do these things, so that you can cut everything down and basically live for free. And even not only that, I'll even teach you how to cut your tax liability down to zero. You're like, what, Angry? Are you out of? No, yep, I can teach you. Guys, don't forget, I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. This is a business for me. Okay? This is a business. I know how, if there's one thing I know about, it's taxes. So if you want to learn how to also cut your tax liability down to zero and protect your assets, that's another thing that I can teach you guys how to do. I can even teach you how to go and get disability, and then set up a thing like, and then set up and then protect your other assets. But guys, I can teach you. I can teach you a lot of things. Let me know if you want this, all right? Because I'll put it together for you. And you don't have to be homeless. You don't even have to be completely living off the government. But you can, this it could save you a lot of money. And in the end, if that's just the life you want to live, that's just the life you're gonna live. I mean, why, listen to me. There's no pride in feeding the beast at this point. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But let me know if that's something you want.
Come down to values. As many public schools have stopped offering shop class, many students have stopped even considering jobs like the ones Roe has spotlighted, dirty or otherwise.
It goes back to the stigmas and stereotypes and myths and misperceptions that are keeping guidance counselors from talking about opportunities like this to the kids in their care. It's those things that are keeping parents from putting all the options on the table.
How big of an issue is it to have this many people sitting on the sideline?
It's only a matter of our national identity. I think it's a giant issue. And by the time we realize how big an issue it is, we're going to have a hard time turning the temperature down.
It's a fascinating story.
7 million men.
Keep in mind, guys, it's not just a matter of national identity. It's a matter of national security, because these same men will not protect society. More and more men are dropping out of law enforcement. They're dropping out not just the workforce, but in general, but just like things, it feels like law enforcement. The military can no longer fill these positions. With each and every passing year, fewer and fewer men are joining the military, and nothing that they do is working. Like they can't, only the Air Force is still able to find people that'll actually join, and fill their ranks. Because the Air Force, you're just chilling in the Air Force. But don't get me wrong. Work in the Air Force is important, but but like other branches of the military, nobody's going to join the Army, join the Navy, none of this nonsense. People are joining. You have a lot of men who have children, and these men are we're in the Marines or, military vets, and they're telling their sons, nope, you're not allowed to join. They're telling their children, nope, you're not allowed to join. They're not allowing their children to join the military. That's what's happening. A lot of these men who serve are not allowing their children to join the military. Son says, very few want to even join. And if they do say, Dad, I'm going to become a Marine, Dad's like, this is how the conversation basically goes. This is basically how the conversation goes. Dad, I'm going to become a Marine. No, Dad, you can't tell me what to do. Okay, son, you're going to become a Marine. All right. Well, I'm 30 years older than you. I'm an old man. Boy. So, if you can last 1 minute, if you can last, not if you can take me down. All right? No way in hell. No way in God's green earth you're going to take me down. If you can last just 1 minute up against your old dad, you can become a Marine, son. All right, let's go, old man. Let's go. Boom. Bro, this man knocks that kid unconscious. Unconscious. All right, dude doesn't have time to cry, doesn't have none of that. Bro is unconscious, out for a solid amount of time. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes a couple of hours. When he wakes up, he thinks the whole thing was just a dream. Bro wakes up like, okay, I guess I need to, I don't know, I guess I fell asleep. I guess it's time to go speak with Dad and tell him that I'm going to become a Marine. But then they're like, oh my gosh, what is that pain? Oh, because it takes a while for the brain to register the pain. And then they realize that there's like a dent. There's like a dent on their foreheads. And then they're like, oh my God, that wasn't a dream. That wasn't a dream. And Dad's like close by, and he's like, morning, sunshine. So guess who's not joining the Marines, So anyway, I guess that conversation is over. And it's like this is how it's going. This is literally how it's going. I'm gonna join the Marines. Okay, last 1 minute. Okay, okay, old man. Boom. Just they don't even waste any time. Don't even waste it. You deal it. Listen to me. That Marine training stays with you. That Marine training stays with these men, and that's the end of that. So their kids are not joining the Marines. They're not joining. They can't do anything. You know, they can't. It's really over. And to be clear, it's not 7 million men. It's actually 30 million men. Total 30 million men. It's 7 million men in the last couple of years. It's 30 million men total that have completely dropped out of the workforce. 30 million men, able-bodied men. Now, I want you to consider something, guys. What makes things very frightening. The U.S. population, the total U.S. population, is just over 300 million people. And then when you talk about working age adults in their prime working age, prime working years, that's maybe around like 150, somewhere between 150 and 200 million people at any given moment. So if you look at it like that, in reality, we've lost about somewhere around 1/5, 1/5 of the potentially around 1/5 to 1/6 of the entire population is not working. That could be working, and then on top of that, men are the ones who put in the most number of hours. They're the ones who drive the economy. When you look at it from that perspective, almost a third of the workforce is missing because men work longer hours than women. They earn more because they work more, they invest more. So it really, the effect is more like 1/3 of the workforce is actually missing. And as men walking away continues to grow, I've said this before, men don't need a lot to survive. Men are living these, simple lives of luxury. Very, very simple lives of luxury. There was another video I wanted to show you guys, and it was so interesting. It was really, really interesting. And I might just show you a little bit of it because there's, a lot of, the notion that, we'll just ban you from playing video games. Like, guys, a lot of modern video games suck. Like PlayStation 5. I don't know if you guys follow video. Some of you follow video games. Sony basically announced that the PlayStation 5, after 4 years, is in the latter stages of its life. The latter stage, it's now entering the latter stage of its life. So they're basically saying we're done. Don't expect any new first-party PlayStation games until sometime in 2025, and they're already working towards the next generation. And it's crazy because I don't see the PlayStation 4, like they were saying that PlayStation 4 would be supported through 2025. It's becoming seeming that it's just going to be supported through the next through the end of this generation, because they've just given up on it. And a lot of men, especially like some of you guys in my comments, are making it very clear that you don't even care about these current generations. You're going some of y'all are happy playing N64. In fact, that's just the way you like it.
Live basically in the early 2000s, or unless you were like some wild ostrich or something, you probably have played or at least heard of the PlayStation 2. You probably just somehow experienced it at some point in your life. No matter if you did play it, you could have just heard that it was a thing. Hell, I've talked to many people before in my life who don't even necessarily like video games, they just somewhat played it at certain points. They'd be like, all right, well, I played GTA San Andreas or Vice City with my sibling or something growing up, and that's basically all they did. I feel like the PlayStation 2 has been in everyone's lives, basically, if you've grown up in this era. It's just one of those things that just was somehow in your house all the time. I don't know. Well, obviously, it didn't get up and run away. I have a large stack of games that I have played at least a little bit lately. I've played pretty much, all these games I basically played throughout my life. I just kind of replayed them again. This is only the little bit of games I've played. I have more PlayStation 2 games over there, and I also was playing those, but these were the ones I was probably playing the most. I've been playing PlayStation 3 so much lately, and it just confirmed to me that that system is incredible. Everything's still good on it. Now, I had to ask myself the question because this is the generation before PlayStation 3. So are games from the PlayStation 2 era still good? That's the question. I mean, like if you went to the bank and asked them for knitting advice, it just really doesn't make any sense why you asked the question. I just asked it, so this is what we'll find out. I'm going to answer it right away because I don't want to waste anyone's time by thinking that I'm going to say no or something. Absolutely they are, and I don't know, man, but somehow everything is just, all right, I don't know. That sentence sounded good in my head, but then I just didn't know how to finish it. But I've been playing or actually, wait a minute. I don't know if no, I didn't play Guitar Hero. I'm a liar. I said I played all of them. I have not played Guitar Hero. I just own it because I don't know where the hell my guitar went. Anyway. Damn, it's probably too...
Guys, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Just look at guys. A lot of these games you get, there used to be Greatest Hit, Splinter Cell, Need for Speed. I mean, guys, these are some nice games, bro. These are some real nice games. Bro. And guys, a lot of these games you could just $100, bro. $100, you could just pick up a lot of these games right now. $100 or even less, you can just pick up an entire massive collection of PlayStation 2 games. Get yourself a long HDMI cable. I should mention this. Seriously, you can go on eBay right now. Go on eBay and find a television, find a 1080p television for around $100 to $120. Okay, and brand new, and it's a smart TV at that. And you can just basically order it. You can order it brand new and 32 inches. And this is crazy. 32 inches. and then you could just, you have get a PlayStation 2 dirt cheap, order a bunch of games. Guys, you get a PlayStation 2, ton of games for the PlayStation 2, dirt cheap, all right, for $100, get yourself a PS2, a ton of games for $50. And a smart television for $100. In fact, you can even get a smart TV for as low as $70. That's 24 inches. And for some of you, that's more than enough. Brand new off Amazon. And you're just basically, because some of you are playing you're just playing or sleeping on the ground. So if you're sleeping on the ground, a 22 inch is actually going to be better. 24 inch is actually going to be better for you because it's going to be harder if you try to look up while playing. 24 inches is huge, but at the same time, it's going to be feasible because a lot of y'all sleep on the ground. So you get yourself a $70 smart TV, hook up your PS2 to it, and you have your games right there, and that's it. And that's it. Want to play some Tekken? Play some Tekken. None of this live service BS. Want to play some Final Fantasy? Play some Final Fantasy. Want to play some Need for Speed? Need for Speed. Grand Theft Auto? Bro, Vice City is still an incredible game. Want to play, guys? And no internet connection required. No monitoring. This guy, it's just. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I do not know. And it's you just live in that comfort life. And you just feel good. You feel so good. And I'm telling you guys, food replicators are on the way. And when we talk about food replicators, I'm not saying Star Trek right now, that's a while off, but just machines that will allow you to prepare your foods instantly, that go a step beyond, let's say, the microwave. The moment that you can just basically press a button and your food is ready. And a lot of you are already living that life using a microwave, but the moment that technology advances even a little bit more, and you could just basically press a button and you can have essentially gourmet meals. And again, a lot of you are already living that life with microwaves. That's pretty much the end of that as well. Because I've said this before, most men don't need a lot to survive. Some of you have a George Foreman grill, and and a pot, you know, like a cast iron pot. And with that cast iron pot, you can do a lot of things with that with that cast iron pot and a lid. You can do a lot with that cast iron pot. You can fry meat with that cast iron pot. You can you can you can actually you can essentially make a cake in a pot with that cast iron pot. You can actually you can make rice, and not only can you make rice in it, you make some great rice in it with a simple cast iron pot. You can do everything. Cast iron pot and a lid, bro. That's life right there. That is absolute life right there. And a lot of you live that life. Most men, the truth is that while society needs men to survive, most men do not need society to survive. And that's a hard thing to realize. That a lot of dudes, they don't even want this current generation of video games. They want video games from the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s.
Anyway. Damn, it's probably too late to restart this, huh? I'm still playing PlayStation 3 a lot. It's kind of insane, actually. That's probably what I've been doing for 99% of my life. I think if if human beings didn't have to eat to survive, it'd probably be 100. And shower, I guess. So I guess you don't have to shower, but... All right, where's this going? I just wanted to see if PlayStation 2 games, I don't know why I moved them up. PlayStation 2 games are still good, and to be honest with you, some games that I played kind of in the later stages of the PlayStation 2 cycle, I don't know how they looked that good. If you played some PlayStation 2 games from, really early on, I mean, the graphics aren't terrible. If you grew up in the era, you would probably just assume what you're getting yourself into. But some of the games I played, I really couldn't believe that this was on the PlayStation 2. I went back and this is a mess already. So one of the games I went back and played that I really experienced well and thought that the graphics and visuals and just gameplay alone was miraculous was Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. I'm already out of breath, but this is what this game does to you. I thought GTA had really good visuals and gameplay, and then you go and play a game like this and it's like, wow. This was released in 2005, so that's basically when all of the most insanely good looking games and gameplay reaches the top quality as it can possibly get. So once the end of the cycle comes around, remember the PlayStation 4 cycle, once like the last couple of years we got Red Dead and we got Ghost of Tsushima. PlayStation 2 was also around the time where racing games were never better. Maybe
just to be clear with you guys, something I've just thought about is the fact that, imagine a modern Unreal Engine running on the PlayStation 2. Guys, could you imagine, because the Unreal Engine is what a lot of games are made in today. And just imagine them using the Unreal Engine, the new Unreal Engine, was it Unreal Engine 5, to make PlayStation 2 games. They would look absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I don't know, guys. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. As you can see, guys, men are just opting out. This is the kind of guy I'm warning you about. He literally said if he didn't have to eat, he would just be playing video games 100% of the time. If he did not have to eat, this is one of the dudes I'm telling you about, bro. Okay? Men are living these happy lives of luxury. The only people who are driving the economy right now, and the success of spending, are modern women. Guys, do you know who the richest person constantly on earth is? Not Elon Musk, the CEO of Louis Vuitton. Why is the CEO of Louis Vuitton so rich? Why are people, guys, what this tells you is that women are driving the economy, buying luxury products. Men who buy fancy cars, expensive cars, are not buying those cars for themselves. Some of the fastest cars you can even drive are not luxury cars. They're older cars, they're muscle cars, and so forth. All these expensive cars, men are only buying them to show off and flex in front of women. These expensive houses and properties, Why would I buy this expensive house and property when I can get a mobile home much cheaper and live a comfortable life in my mobile home? Oh, because a woman doesn't want to live in the mobile home with you because she looks at you like you're a poor, like you're a poor man. She needs to live in a gated community and all this other nonsense. Oh gosh, it's crazy. You know, women have made life so much more complicated, and for the typical man, it's intriguing. Typical man doesn't need much to survive. For a lot of men, the concept of work has just really changed. Why be bothered to work in a society that absolutely hates you? Especially when you can enjoy video games that were, great.
Really experienced well and thought that the graphics and visuals and just gameplay alone was miraculous. Was Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. I'm already out of breath, but this is what this game does to you. I thought GTA had really good.
Guys, don't be shocked if, as the economy tanks, you're going to see the media with videos like, putting out content like, the push to get men back to work, because literally they may end up doing this. They may end up having things like, okay, now the push to get men back to work is because this is always what happens as things go downhill. They eventually say, okay, men, come save the day. We need you. Come and rescue us. And there's going to be all these debates about what should we do? Should we institute policies like maybe restricting the amount of time men are allowed to play video games? And for example, you go to work and then you present. Guys, take away video games. That would just tank an entire industry and economy if you started banning men from playing video games. Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm gonna show you. Guys will just pick up a PlayStation 2. Guys, this is the final thing. I told you, women and the government would love to come. They want to come in your house and police you, because women are agents of the government, and agents of the government are, I like to refer to these individuals as agents of oppression. And if they could, as men are leaving gyms or men are abandoning society, I told you that you'll eventually have women coming around. If society were to absolutely crash or tank, and it's hard for society to collapse, but society could crash. You'd have women going around door to door, knocking on doors, trying to telling men to let them in and their children. However, when it really comes down to it, there's no positive light here. They're going to try to come after men. Oh, men, the drive to get more men back in the workforce, encouraging men. And guys, you know how they're going to do it? You know how they're going to try to get men back into the workforce? Using shame. Because guilt is, we're a guilt-based society, but they're going to try to use shame. Back during, I think it was WW1, they had the feminists participated in this thing where they would go around and it would be, and any men who weren't serving in WW1, they would give out feathers, like a white feather to them or something. And it basically, I forgive me if I'm wrong, but it was something like that. And it basically would signify that these men are cowards. White roses, maybe. It might have been white roses. And it was to signify that these men were cowards because they were not defending their country. This is what they did. It was a combination of shame and guilt. And they actually did this, and they're going to try to do things like that. They'll try to shame men back into the workforce, even as they're telling men that you're not in charge, you are not the boss, and you need to. And the workforce has evolved and changed, and now you have to understand that women are in charge. Women play a more equitable role in things, and you need to go to the workforce. You need to do your part, and and the dress code and the dressing has changed in the workforce as well. There are different people now there, so you need to be respectful, because guys, they're going to be doing all of these things while telling men they need to get back to work. This is absolutely brilliant. The workforce is a place that has become absolutely toxic, where no one wants to be anymore. But then at the same time, they're telling men that, oh yeah, but by the way, you need to go back to work also. You need to go back to work, but you also need to understand that you don't run the world, and we live in a different world now, and times have changed, and you're gonna have to get with the program, guys. As you can also see, gig workers pay on delivery apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash fell up to 15% last year. A big part of what's happening is that people can't afford fast food the way they were purchasing it before. People are not tipping anymore. People are done with the tipping. They're tipping the bare minimum, or in some cases, or if they can avoid tipping, they're avoiding it. They no longer The people that are doing these jobs, they view them more so like a lot of these people are viewed as pests now. You have grown men and grown women who are quitting their jobs, so they're leaving their jobs behind. Some of these jobs where they make anywhere from 20 to even $25 an hour, they are quitting these jobs to go and do Uber Eats and gig work. And these people believe that they should be making $60 to $100 an hour doing this type of work. In California right now, they're literally fighting for 50 an hour. I was wrong. I was wrong. And there were some of you that actually kind of called it, like said that I was wrong. I said that the next fight would be for 30 an hour. I was wrong. I was wrong, y'all. I was absolutely wrong. Okay. So because right now, California minimum wage, uh, 50 an hour. They're actually they're actually they're actually fighting for 50 an hour right now. There's a 50 an hour. They're actually, yeah. This is actually happening. I guess some of you probably haven't heard about it. This just happened recently, but yeah, this is and the thing is, once it's there, you cannot unsee it. So they basically want, to people should be making $100,000 a year doing doing working at McDonald's. This is the absolute insane reality we live in. If we share this, if we look at this, so yeah, Rep. Barbara Lee in California Senate race, and she might win, says minimum wage should be 50 an hour. So candidates vying for California U.S. Senate seat met on stage Monday for a relatively tame debate where California's cost of living was raised as key issues. In a standout moment, Democratic Representative Barbara Lee, former mayor of Oakland, so this is a woman who was previously elected. She is a previously elected official, all right, discussed a proposal to raise the federal minimum wage to 50 an hour. So this is not just in California. They want to raise the federal minimum wage to 50 an hour. And keep in mind, even if it does not happen on a national level, federal minimum wage is like 7 something an hour right now. And I will admit it should have been changed long ago, but many states have already have increased their minimum wage regardless of the federal minimum wage. But this is where they're at right now. And I said they were going to fight for 50. I didn't even know this was happening. 50 an hour. I said they would be fighting for 30. I said they would be fighting for 30, but considering inflation and everything else, and Gen Z, the fact that Gen Z no longer wants to work anymore, they now want 50 an hour. And that's a big part of it, where you have these people doing DoorDash and these other jobs where they're able to make 50 an hour doing very minimal labor. They think that's what they're entitled to. So Lee joins other Democratic representatives Adam Schiff and Katie Porter and Republican Steve Garvey in what has become a tense race to fill the seat left by Senator Dianne Feinstein. And she actually passed away back in September 2023. I didn't even know that I don't remember hearing that she passed away, which is crazy. But she was just something else. And that was after being in office for more than 30 years. And Schiff has maintained a comfortable lead in the polls for the last few months. And a recent poll from the University of Southern California describes a deadlock race for second place between Garvey and Porter. But yeah, so this is a standout right here. This is a 100% standout. And this is actually a bill. This is actually a proposal right now. So it's a proposal for $50 minimum wage, $50 minimum. And of course, Gen Z is going to get behind this. If you could see more and more why I don't like Gen Z, I mean, anyone with reason can see why a $50 an hour federal minimum wage is a bad idea. I mean, it would devastate the economy. And of course, Gen Z is literally watching this video like, what are you talking about, man? Do you understand how much things cost? But guys, these people are insane. $100,000 a year. You should be making a minimum of $100,000 a year to do DoorDash. Working at McDonald's, the guy who's flipping fries should be making $100,000 a year. And they're literally here like, listen to me. You don't know how hard it is to do these jobs. Okay? Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. And this video that you're making, it really shouldn't be going up. Okay? Because what it's doing, it's a form of guys, I can't use the words, but they basically call it bad speech, and they say that they call it bad speech. They call it bad speech. Other candidates called for $20 to $25 an hour for minimum wage, and keep in mind the federal minimum wage is at $7.25 an hour. I guarantee you, Gen Z doesn't want $20 to $25 an hour. They don't want $20 to $25 an hour. In many cases, they've already gotten it. They want $50 an hour. I said the next fight would be fight for 30. And in some places, it will go to 30 an hour. It's going, because when you consider inflation right now and how bad inflation is, $15 an hour isn't what it was 10 years ago when they started fighting, roughly 10 years ago when they started fighting for 15 an hour. 15 an hour has less spending power, less value right now than it's like 15 an hour. It's like almost maybe $25. Like what used to cost 15, now you'd have to spend 25 to even 30. So these people are going to start fighting. I said 30 an hour, but really, and when they do this, it's only going to, of course, the value of the money is only going to decline more. I mean, it's basic economics. It's only going to send the prices of things up even further. But of course, it is what it is. It is what it is. Guys, men are abandoning society to play video games. And, it's like I said, the more they try to punish men, the more men will just avoid society entirely.
Or it might come down to values.
I don't feel bad about
as many public schools have stopped offering shop class, many students have stopped even considering jobs like the ones Roe has spotlighted.
And men are just like, hey, I don't care. I don't care what happens in the society anymore. I don't care what happens. Not my problem, not my fight. You didn't appreciate us. You've disrespected us. You've relented us to being second-class citizens. So why am I going to go ahead and waste my time and put effort into helping you and taking care of you and helping you to build your business and your brand when you don't even like me? Because it's the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth. Western society does not like men. Men are absolutely not liked by Western society. Western society despises men. It despises us. It does not like us. It does not even want us around. Guys, men are abandoning society to play video games and sleep. What do you guys think regarding this? I want to hear your thoughts. So let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away and